Being a fan of Halo can be, you know, one of two things. One of two things. It can be kind of like this. Yay! I remember, Master Chief. Do you? And there's kind of moments where you're just like this. Hello. How do I want to do this? I really don't know. Where to even begin? So this video is gonna kind of be a little impromptu, so to speak. I have a script and I have some notes, but I kind of just wanted to come out here and just talk about the state of Halo and kind of where we're at as a community, because I think there's a bit of tension and a bit of unrest, I guess you could say, amongst the community. The excitement that people have for Halo as a franchise, it's kind of a constant almost. You know, people, let's look back at Infinite's reveal trailers. You know, people were very excited for this game. And for the first time in a while, it kind of felt like, you know, we're so back. We are so back. It's finally happening. I'm in the woods. We just see, I feel like we see so much potential. The potential for Halo, the potential for Halo. Yeah, that's right, it's Infinite. My main jive with Halo is definitely the multiplayer, don't get me wrong. I love the story of Halo and Master Chief, but I'm not super, I know that's a very important piece for a lot of people, and trust me, I fully respect that and understand that. I just don't know if a remake of CE is the best decision. Time will tell. I am mainly excited to hopefully see at the end of October, kind of what's next overall. Like we are, did you guys know? Did you know it's highly likely that we will be receiving a CE remake in 2026? I didn't, I couldn't tell. I had no idea. I did not know that we were getting a CE remake. Jokes aside, I am excited to see. And you know, I will be there in person, so I will get to fully experience that. You know, I'll be around all my friends, and just even last year seeing the engine reveal in person, you know, that was like there was an energy in the room, and you know, that's kind of hard to just communicate and say, trust me, bro. You know, and I understand why people are kind of checked out. I think this is the final chance. This is the final chance for a lot of people. For the better part of almost nearly 3 years now at this point, I've been pretty consistently streaming and playing Halo Infinite, and I'm not too proud of this. I have about 2,000 hours. In Infinite now. I think I offer a unique perspective on the franchise, because I never really played Halo 4, I never really played Halo 5. I did play the games and I played their stories. Oh my, especially oh my to Halo 5. I didn't really sink a whole lot of time into those games for a multitude of factors, but mainly I got a PC, and you know, my brain at the time was all Counter-Strike, Rust, you know, all these other games. Like the whole world of PC gaming kind of opened up to me. So I really wasn't there to experience the mega lows of Halo 4, Halo 5, MCC, you know, that whole rabbit hole. I don't want to talk too much about the past of Halo. I'm kind of focused more on the future, you know, and that's not to say you shouldn't look back, you shouldn't look at things and learn from it and notice like past mistakes, but I think it's kind of important to look forward. Like I was saying earlier, the fan base for Halo is kind of in a constant state of excitement. You know, everybody kind of wants to know what's next at all times. It doesn't really matter if it's a new game, if it's a current game. New Halo content, Halo fans, we eat that shit up. It's delicious. We eat that shit up. We really do. It feels like we're in a very in-between kind of stage with the franchise. I feel like a lot of people are just kind of burnt out, tired, and ready for something truly new, not just the Falcon or the Carbine. You know, like that's awesome. You know, for the people who are watching this video and still play Infinite, I think it's fair and I think it's important to acknowledge the vast majority of people don't really care about this. You know what I mean? Like, it's good for us. It's good for us because we're still playing the game, and, you know, it's nice. We're still getting content. It's awesome. It's great. But it's still, it's old content, you know. It's old. It's been leaked forever, you know, that it's been in the files or whatever, and that it's coming, you know, and then it finally comes out, and it's like, it's a little scuffed. It's a little janky, but it's still fun. It's still the Falcon, and it's still the carbine, you know, even though there's a little bit, they have to make it do with what they can, which sucks. And again, let me just, I feel like this is really important to acknowledge because I don't think it's properly addressed enough. Halo fans kind of know what's going on with the studio and all that, but you have to understand the average gamer doesn't really care if there's extenuating circumstances as to why something is the way it is, or why some things feel a little half-baked in the game. You know, people, they won't give it, if the game isn't good or doesn't function properly the way that it should, it's not going to do well, no matter what. We need something new, something truly fresh, a new game. You know, let's look at the recent success of Battlefield 6 and look back at 2042 and how that game did not do super well. Why did Battlefield 6 break the internet? And it's only just a beta. We still have to see how the game launches and how it releases and all that. But me personally, I had an absolute blast playing Battlefield 6. Like I had never played 2042 when it launched, so I was kind of checked out of that whole thing. I bought 2042 it was on sale for $3. I bought 2042 to grind the free pass for the Battlefield 6 cosmetics. And wow, just going back and playing that game really made me just appreciate Battlefield 6. Even though I had never played 2042, playing 2042 after playing Battlefield 6, it's night and day. It really is. Something about the way it feels, you know, it's a lot more grounded, you know, you're in there, you know, we're in a war. And it's satisfying. The gunplay feels better, the weapons feel better. It's all, how did Battlefield 6 win back pretty much the whole gaming community after the disaster of 2042? What can Halo learn from that? What can they learn? You know, a lot of people would like to say Battlefield 6 is pretty much Battlefield 4 modernized, which I kind of agree with, but also at the same time, it's still doing its own thing, and it's innovated in ways that don't stray super far away from what it was in the past. I was super into Battlefield as well when I was younger. Same way with Halo, not as much as Halo, trust me, but I definitely had quite a stint with Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 4, you know, the whole, oh, I sound like an unk, oh. But those games really did, they grasped me. I didn't play Battlefield 5 and I didn't play 2042. Something about like the way the games were marketed and how it's just like that perception just made me I was so just checked out. I really was. I was checked out, but then Battlefield 6 comes around and I'm all about it. What worked? What worked for them that they could bring back their community and provide a sense of hope and, you know, create a good feeling game. And it is just a beta. We have to see how it's going to launch. How did they innovate, you know, while still staying true to the roots of that game? You know, there's already been discussions about the movement in that game and how they're tuning it down for launch or whatever because it was a little too slide cancel-y 2019 Warzone type movement. Which I kind of understand and agree with, but at the same time, like there was some jank that needed to be ironed out. The movement is still innovative and different. You also have things like the revive drag mechanic, which I honestly thought would be kind of gimmicky in a way, but it's really not. It's a core part of the game, and it creates like really cool moments. And you know, I'm sure in time, like that, the novelty of that will fade a little bit. But to me, that is such a small change, but it still innovates on the core gameplay that it's new and exciting, you know, and it does create really cool moments. Like, you know, you're dragging your boy, and you're grabbing your boy out of the fight, you know, you're dragging his ass, you know, you're dragging his ass. It creates cool moments, you know, little things like that. Just, what can Halo do similar to that? That's where I think they need to really focus on. You know, I think it's been talked about quite a bit, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point. The next Halo game needs to launch content and feature complete. That is a given. I'm not going to talk about that too much. I'm not going to like harp on that a lot because I think it's just a given. Forgive me for this. I think that point needs to go away. That should be the expectation at the bare minimum if they truly want to see something successful again. And I want to see something successful again because I love Halo. I think very evidently. I'm out here, I'm in the woods. I'm losing my mind talking in the woods about this. You know, as someone who plays Infinite quite a bit, Infinite has a lot of inherent problems, you know, that kind of detracts from the game itself and honestly keeps the game from kind of being what it could be. You know, getting the Falcon and the Carbine is really cool. It's awesome for the people who are still playing the game, but you know, that doesn't really generate excitement. You know, no one sees that and goes, yeah, man, like, let's hop on, let's get in there, you know, that doesn't create a sense of like true excitement, you know, that will bring people back. And I will say too, Invasion just came out. It feels weird to say this, but you know, it feels like a DLC almost. It feels like that playlist, you know, it's 5 or 6 maps. They're all insanely high quality and unique to Infinite. The maps in that playlist it's so awesome. I had a great time. I've been having a great time playing it. But you know, again, that's not something that's gonna make someone come back. You know, Infinite, basically what I'm trying to get at is Infinite is done. You know, we need something new, and I think that's pretty obvious at this point, but I think it still needs to be said. You know, I think we need to be a little bit more realistic. You know, it's awesome that we are all a lot of us still really enjoy playing the game, and we're getting all this fresh content, you know, just to keep the ball rolling. Give us a little something to tie us over until the next title comes out. I hope the forgers who worked on Invasion and those maps somehow, some way got compensated for their work. I know recently the S&D mode, the Counter-Strike sort of inspired mode, S&D Extraction, that was a fantastic. I loved that game mode, but you know, no one really wanted to play it, which really, I guess it doesn't surprise me. The ranked playlist for that mode was out for a day, and after day 1, you could not find games if you were higher in the ranks. I was so mind blown at how high of quality. Jesus Christ. I think the Falcon's above me right now. Anyway, I was absolutely blown away by the quality of that mode, and I was so upset that so many people just kind of brushed it away. Didn't really give it a chance, you know. It didn't excite people, I guess, you know. Maybe that's not what people want to play. They don't want to try that in Halo, but for me, I feel like it worked really well and it was pretty cool. It just needed a little bit of balancing, a little bit of work. I guess it is what it is. It is what it is. I really hope forgers get compensated in some capacity in the next game. You know, whether that be creator codes, whether that be actual payment. You know, this is not a crazy new hot take. It's something that needs to be said, but it needs to be done. Not only for their sake, but also as a business. The competition in the market is doing that. Like Fortnite has, you know, they have creator codes, and you know, you get paid based on playtime. Like they have some like sort of some way to track, like if certain players spend V-Bucks, you get revenue if they're playing your experience. Like it's crazy, man. These talented people will take their talents elsewhere, and they already kind of have. And you know, some of the people who do make content for Infinite obviously don't care about that. You know, people who make content for Halo in general, should I say, don't care about that. You lose out on so much talent if you don't have that option there for someone to earn revenue on their work. Because it's not just, you know, we're not just going boop, 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 Legos, you know, placing little blocks on Forge World anymore. These are true, like, incredibly difficult, and there's a lot of work. There's just true hard, just grinding work that goes into making a Forge experience. And I've seen it firsthand. I want to say First of all, too, I'm not a forger, okay? I am pretty stupid. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to forge in this game. I don't know why. I love forging in Reach. There are people who are recreating the entirety of the Warzone game mode from Halo 5 for Infinite, and it works, and it's awesome, and it's insanely in-depth and complicated, and it plays great. You know, they've made, you know, 20 new weapons. 20 new weapons just for that mode. These people should be getting, and you know, it might not happen this time around, but I'm saying in the future for the next title, it absolutely must be a thing. Goddamn birds, I apologize. It absolutely must be a thing that these people receive some form of compensation other than a skin. I just feel like that is what has to be done. It's clear that Forge has inspired, you know, Fortnite Creative, you know, Battlefield's Portal mode. And I'm sure the next set of tools will be even more in-depth than Infinite, even better. You know, I mean, look at, I don't know much about Battlefield's Portal, but just from the few little snippets that I've seen, it really seems like that is truly, it looks like dev tools, you know, which is like, that is gonna be insane. That is gonna be crazy for Battlefield. Forge and like user-generated content, I think, I mean, especially now for Infinite, has proven to be a extraordinarily valuable asset during this downtime. Something needs to be done there to make that, I guess the proper word would be lucrative. If we want to see that talent base retained, I think that is extremely important. Let me get a little up close and personal for this next spiel. I promise we're almost done yapping. We're almost done. I kind of want to end off here with a bit of a reality check. I think we need to have a healthy mindset. I have 3,000 hours in Infinite, and I didn't play much of Halo 4, I didn't play much of Halo 5 or MCC. I was kind of all checked out for that. So, you know, I don't hold a lot of bad blood. I see Halo for what it is now. And I see what they were trying to do with Infinite, and I think there was a lot of very poor, extenuating circumstances that contributed to the, I don't know if I want to say failure, because it's like, I don't want to say Infinite was a complete failure, because I think it showed, at least when it first came out, you know, Infinite was a very different game when it first came out. What did it top out on? It topped out at like 250K on Steam or something. Like it's good. People want a good game. And this next game, it's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. I've seen people leave Halo, you know, they're done. And I think we're dangerously approaching a point of apathy, where apathy as in, you know, you don't really feel anything towards, like, you're indifferent. And I think indifference is a lot worse than negativity in a way. I really want to believe and trust that lessons have been learned, you know, the new restructuring of the studio. You know, people can say as much all they want, you know, that it's what do we still we that's the thing, we don't know. We won't know until the next game comes out. That's just the reality. And I think until then, we all just kind of need to chill and, you know, play different games. You don't have to be, and it's tough. Listen, I get it, man. Like, I love Halo. I love it. And I definitely have found myself frustrated with some choices in Infinite and just in general. But I really want to believe this next time they're going to get it right. I will report back after we see what's to come at Worlds. And again, I just want to shout, I will be there. If you see my goofy ass absolutely tweaking, come say hi. I don't know if I'll only talk about Halo, but I love Halo more than anything. And I think there's a lot of potential. There's still so much potential with Halo, and I don't think the fight is over. I don't think we're done finishing this fight. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this video was entertaining. I'm gonna go frolic in a field now.